Welcome to an alternate past. Today's video is, what if the Berlin Wall had never fallen? Imagine a world where the Berlin Wall still stands, a horrifying symbol of division and oppression, tearing families apart and serving as a stark reminder of Cold War tensions. What if the Berlin Wall had never fallen? In this alternate reality, the world would be vastly different, and the tragic human stories that would unfold are almost too heart-wrenching to bear. The Berlin Wall, erected in 1961, wasn't just a physical barrier. It was a symbol of the ideological divide between the Soviet-controlled Eastern Bloc and the capitalist West. Its continued existence would mean that East and West Germany would remain separate, drastically affecting the lives of millions. Families would be torn apart indefinitely, loved ones standing on opposite sides, yearning to be reunited, but forced to accept a life of painful separation. Economic stagnation in East Germany would persist, leading to widespread poverty and despair. Without the influx of Western technology and investment that spurred growth post-reunification, East Germans would continue to grapple with shortages of basic goods, subpar living conditions, and limited freedom. The youth who couldn't escape to seek better opportunities would face a bleak future, mired in the same oppressive system their parents endured. Politically, the ripple effects would be monumental. The Soviet Union, buoyed by its stronghold in East Germany, might never have collapsed, maintaining its grip over Eastern Europe. The Iron Curtain would still cast its shadow across the continent, stifling aspirations for freedom and democracy. Countries like Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia might still find themselves under authoritarian regimes, their people deprived of the liberties enjoyed in the West. In the United States, the Cold War paranoia would persist, fostering an atmosphere of fear and hostility towards the Eastern Bloc. The arms race could accelerate, with both sides pouring resources into developing ever more destructive weapons. The threat of nuclear annihilation would loom larger, with potential crises erupting as each side tested the other's resolve. Over time, the increasing isolation of East Germany would likely lead to more aggressive attempts to flee the oppressive regime. Desperate citizens might risk their lives in daring escape attempts, leading to tragic and often deadly outcomes. The grim stories of those who didn't make it, shot down at the wall, or captured and imprisoned, would haunt the world's conscience, a sobering reminder of the cost of political division. On the cultural front, the continued existence of the Berlin Wall would mean a recurring theme of division and loss in art, literature, and film. The world might witness a barrage of heartbreaking narratives inspired by real-life tales of separation and unfulfilled dreams. The continuing saga of human suffering would resonate deeply, stirring profound empathy and sorrow. Technological advancements and scientific collaborations between East and West would be stifled, hindering progress in various fields. The global exchange of ideas and innovations, which blossomed post-Cold War, would be curtailed, affecting advancements in medicine, technology, and environmental science. Humanity's collective journey towards a better future would be slowed by the persistent chasm dividing the world. The German capital, Berlin, would remain a city marred by division, its vibrancy muted by the omnipresent wall. The stark contrast between the bustling West Berlin and the austere East Berlin would be a constant reminder of the ideological battle being waged. The citizens of West Berlin might enjoy relative freedom and prosperity, but their lives would be overshadowed by the plight of their fellow Germans trapped behind the wall. Internationally, travel and communication between East and West would remain restricted. Families separated across the Iron Curtain would endure the agony of limited correspondence, only able to catch glimpses of each other's lives through state-censored letters or rare, tightly regulated visits. The emotional toll would be immense, leaving scars that would last generations. Western governments, driven by the ideological battle against communism, might increase their interventions in proxy wars and support for anti-Soviet movements worldwide. The specter of Vietnam-like conflicts would loom large, spreading chaos and suffering in various regions as superpowers vied for influence. Environmental cooperation between East and West, crucial for addressing global challenges like climate change, would face significant barriers. The Cold War mentality of secrecy and competition could hinder collaborative efforts needed to tackle environmental crises, putting the planet at greater risk. Human rights abuses in East Germany and other Eastern Bloc countries would likely go unchecked, with authoritarian regimes maintaining strict control over their populations. Activists and dissidents would continue to face harsh repression, their bravery overshadowed by the authoritarian grip that silenced their cries for freedom and justice. Under a lingering Cold War, the world would remain polarized, with each side viewing the other with suspicion and animosity. International organizations and efforts to promote peace would struggle, as nations entrenched in their respective blocs found compromise and cooperation nearly impossible. Ultimately, the Berlin Wall not falling would mean a world steeped in conflict, misery, and inertia. The dream of a reunited Germany, of people free to chart their own destinies, would remain just that, a dream, tragically unfulfilled. The wall's continued existence would cast a long, dark shadow over the 21st century, a somber testament to the enduring costs of division and ideological enmity. In conclusion, the Berlin Wall's continued existence represents not just an alternate political landscape, but a deeply human tragedy. Millions of lives, stunted potential, and unfulfilled dreams would mark a world forever scarred by the persistence of Cold War divisions.